Crisis in Miami. Mike McDaniel on the hot seat, Tua Tagovailoa under fire, and a wild proposal to trade for Shedeur Sanders. The Miami Dolphins are staring at a season that could redefine the franchise for years to come. Coming off a humbling Week 1 loss to the Indianapolis Colts, the Dolphins have already gone from playoff hopefuls to a team teetering on the edge of dysfunction. Head coach Mike McDaniel, once hailed as a visionary offensive mind, now finds himself on the hot seat. Starting quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, whose future in Miami once looked secure, is suddenly the focal point of criticism from media, fans, and even his own head coach. And as if the tension wasn't high enough, Miami hip-hop legend Luke Campbell just tossed gasoline on the fire by urging the Dolphins to make a bold move. Trade for Shedeur Sanders, the Cleveland Browns' third-string rookie quarterback and son of NFL icon Deion coach Prime Sanders. The cracks in Miami's foundation. When McDaniel was hired in 2022, he was supposed to bring cutting-edge innovation to Miami's offense. He inherited a roster with world-class speed, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, and a young quarterback in Tagovailoa whose accuracy and quick release made him an ideal fit for McDaniel's timing-based passing scheme. For a while, it worked. Miami looked like a juggernaut at times in 2023 and 2024, lighting up the scoreboard and striking fear into defensive coordinators. But late-season collapses and a string of disappointing playoff exits have eroded that early optimism. Now, after an opening loss in which Tagovailoa threw for just 186 yards and struggled with decision-making, the sense of urgency has reached a boiling point. Mike McDaniel's seat is heating up. McDaniel didn't sugarcoat what he saw against the Colts. "I saw quarterback play that was less than to be desired, which Tua absolutely knows," McDaniel said at his Wednesday press conference. "He's the captain and franchise QB, and everybody kind of fell victim to something similar. I don't want to make the same mistakes twice. I don't want things to happen for no reason or in vain. We need to be better collectively. He and everybody else needs to be better for us to get done what we need to get done." Those are not the words of a coach who feels comfortable. Those are the words of a man who knows his job depends on turning things around, quickly. If Miami continues to slide, owner Stephen Ross could opt for a clean house approach. New general manager, new head coach, and, potentially, a new quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa's future in doubt. While Tagovailoa is under contract through 2026, that doesn't mean he's untouchable. His contract guarantees his pay through 2026, wrote Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio. If the Dolphins fall flat and change coaches, the next coach likely will want a fresh start at quarterback. While the cap charges will complicate a split before 2027, every high-end quarterback contract eventually leads to a big cap charge when the relationship ends. The next coach and the next GM, if owner Stephen Ross cleans house, may want to rip the Band-Aid off in one motion. That assessment lines up with other reports suggesting Miami's faith in Tua is no longer rock solid. Brian Miller of Fin Fanatic noted that the Dolphins could have restructured Tagovailoa's contract this offseason to free up $19 million in cap space, but chose not to. "They didn't need the extra money," Miller wrote, "but the decision is telling. It shows Miami isn't all in on Tua the way they once were." Luke Campbell's bold trade proposal. Enter Luke Campbell, the Miami hip-hop pioneer, cultural icon, and longtime Dolphins fan who has never been shy about speaking his mind. This week, Campbell took to social media to issue a direct plea to Miami's front office. "Dear Miami Dolphins front office, trade for Shedeur Sanders. We've got world-class speed on the perimeter and a creative offense. Pair that with a young QB who's built for big moments and let him develop in Miami. Cleveland's QB room is crowded. There's a window to make a smart move for our future. Do right by the city. Go get him." It's the kind of statement that might have been dismissed as fantasy football talk in years past. But given Miami's situation and Cleveland's crowded quarterback room, it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Why Shedeur Sanders? Shedeur Sanders' NFL career is off to a strange start. After an unexpected slide in the 2025 NFL Draft, Sanders landed in Cleveland in the 5th round. He showed flashes of brilliance during the preseason, throwing for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Carolina Panthers. But an oblique injury and the presence of veteran Joe Flacco and rookie Dylan Gabriel pushed him down to 3rd on the depth chart. Reports out of Berea suggest Sanders has been splitting scout team reps with Bailey Zapp and, at times, literally throwing passes to equipment staffers rather than wide receivers. In other words, Cleveland might not be the ideal environment for his development. Miami, on the other hand, could offer the perfect landing spot. Sanders could learn behind Tagovailoa for a season, absorb McDaniel's offense, and be ready to step in if the Dolphins move on from Tua in 2026 or beyond. The case for the trade. From a football standpoint, trading for Sanders could make sense for both teams. For Miami, they'd acquire a high-upside developmental quarterback without spending a first-round pick. Sanders' calm demeanor and ability to shine under pressure at Colorado make him an intriguing fit for McDaniel's system. For Cleveland, they'd clear up their quarterback logjam and potentially recoup a mid-round pick or a player who can help them immediately. It would also generate excitement in Miami, giving the fan base a glimpse of the future while still allowing Tagovailoa to lead the team this season. The risks of such a move. Of course, there are risks. Sanders is still unproven at the NFL level, and Miami's offensive line remains a work in progress. Dropping a rookie quarterback into that situation too soon could backfire. There's also the question of whether McDaniel, fighting for his job, would even want to tie his future to a quarterback who might not be ready until 2026. And if Tagovailoa turns things around and plays like the 2023 version of himself, a Sanders trade could be rendered moot. The domino effect. What happens in the next few weeks could set off a chain reaction. If Tua plays poorly again against the Buffalo Bills, the noise around McDaniel's job will get deafening. If Miami starts 0-2, the calls for a quarterback shakeup will intensify. And if Cleveland continues to keep Sanders on the bench, trade speculation will only grow louder. By mid-season, the Dolphins could be staring at a full-blown quarterback controversy, one that extends beyond their own roster. The bigger picture. This is about more than just one player. This is about a franchise at a crossroads. The Dolphins haven't been to the AFC Championship game since 1992. They've cycled through coaches and quarterbacks for decades, always searching for the combination that will finally bring them back to contention. Mike McDaniel was supposed to be the guy who solved that puzzle. Tua was supposed to be the quarterback who brought them stability. But if this season spirals, both could be gone by January. And if that happens, Miami will need a new identity and maybe a new quarterback to build around. That's where the Shedeur Sanders conversation could go from fantasy to reality. Final word. Right now, Shedeur Sanders is still a Cleveland Brown, and Tua Tagovailoa is still the Dolphins' starting quarterback. But the NFL moves fast. Seasons turn on a dime. If Miami loses to Buffalo in Week 2, and if the offense continues to sputter, expect the pressure to mount. Not just on Tua and McDaniel, but on the Dolphins' front office to start planning for the future. And somewhere in that conversation, Luther Campbell's plea will still be echoing, "Go get Shedeur."